wish that the system, the courts and, you know, our judicial system that's supposed to be there to help would have done something earlier in our life. I wish they would have done something earlier in our daughter's life. And I wish they'd do something now.
I think the world sucks. It treats you like shit when it should be honoring you. I get angry. I get really angry. And when I've read things written by you, Andrea, I found home again.
I said, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm pregnant. I have a life inside of me. If it's a girl, I'm just breeding her, so she'll be a prostitute. I'm just breeding her so that she'll turn out the same way I did. I don't want to die when my daughter is 8 years old, like my mom did, and leave her to do the same thing. But I feel that with CPA's help, I've done enough to raise a child and not make her a prostitute and not make her a fourth generation. I have hope for her.
I think about my daughter and what her life was like, and it's like, you know, it's just the way it was. It's just the way it is now. It isn't stopping. I have films of pornography that was taken of me from the time I was a baby until just a few years ago. I've wanted to destroy it so many times, but maybe there is a reason why I've held on to it, and maybe you're that reason.
The trafficking in women in this country, both on the streets in prostitution and in pornography, technologized prostitution, you see, where a white man is dignified by being called a publisher instead of a pimp, and can sell women many, 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 many more times than the non-technologized selling of an actual real person with physical limits to what she can endure. At some point she will die, and she does, she dies. But the picture can be sold forever. She can live forever. He can pimp her forever. And there are never enough pictures. Because, you know, there are already hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of them just in the United States. This trafficking takes place in an international context. Women are the largest cash crop coming out of Thailand. Asian women are being sold all over the world, beginning when they are children. It is a slave trafficking in women. We are told in the society that we live in almost as the golden rule. The golden rule in the United States is that we have free speech. The First Amendment was written by slave owners and by men who owned white women as chattel. Women were property. And the First Amendment does not grant you a right to freedom of speech. That is not what it does. It says that once you have spoken, the government shouldn't punish you for it. But suppose you can't speak because the conditions of your oppression are such that you can't speak. This country gives us lies and platitudes and tells us that we can say whatever we want to say. Well, we can, because we can't get it heard, and some of us can't say it because we have been hurt too bad. We have been hurt. Now, what does it mean if 1 out of every 3 female children is sexually abused before she becomes an adult? She's supposed to jump out of the womb and start talking because she's only got a certain amount of time left? And if she doesn't make use of that time, the man who rapes her, who robs her of her sense of worth, of her sense of her own brilliance and beauty as a human being, what does it mean that in this society it is his rights that matter and no injury to her matters at all? What does it mean, and how the hell do we change it? We have a right to decide whether we want to use law or whether we want to use our bare hands.